Alright, here. You want to talk about things that I want to see, right? So, I mean, we've got a patch coming up here in a few days, right? And that's pretty much confirmed. Here's kind of like the wish list of things that I want to see happen with Geraldo here, right? So let's just go through all of this here and let's talk about what we think is good and what's not good, alright? So, I think in Geraldo's current state here, that Shooty Turret is pretty much fine, right? Shooty Turret is something that you invest in early. Shooty Turret is essentially a better Dart Monkey. You pay slightly more for it, but you end up getting something that's incredibly powerful. Like, this is Geraldo's early game power spike right here. You get a lot out of it. It's great on single lane maps, shoots down incredible amounts of PS, lasts for a good while, does essentially what you need it to do before 30s start hitting, and then it starts to fall off a little bit there. Stack of Nails here does what it needs to do. Could use a bit of a buff on the last few levels of this here, because right about now it just doesn't really have much of a use. I also think Creepy Idol is just fine where it is. But then we start getting into stuff like Pickles here, and Pickles is getting a bit of a nerf here. Yeah, Pickles is really good. It should not be this cheap. Pickles really adds a hell of a lot to it there. So, yeah, I think getting Pickles nerfed there is very appropriate. Pickles is really strong. It does a lot. It does so much for just 55 there. It's a really good early. It's really solid late game. It doesn't nerf it late game, but I think Pickles, like, the fact is that Pickles is so criminally good early game means that it's like, the thing is, I always compare it to like boss battles where it's like, for the power of like 55, for a less than an upgrade, you were able to clear rounds out for like 6 rounds there without having to invest anything. That's insane. So yeah, Quincy NFT, it's fine. Like, a lot of people be like, it's the most OP thing about it. No, Quincy NFT's fine as is, honestly. Invisibility Potion here is an interesting one. I think Invisibility Potion should be toned down a little bit. I think Invisibility Potion should not last for 10 rounds. I think Invisibility Potion should last for about 8 rounds or so. I think being able to have a unit just permanently not have to buy camo there is really strong. And the fact that you don't have to invest into like a village or anything like that, which is like $3,000 there, is incredible. I think that this needs to be toned down slightly. Glue's not fine. Glue's really not fine in its current state, and is like by far, this is like the one thing that I look at Geraldo here and I'm just like, yeah, this shouldn't exist in its current state. Like, the fact that this lasts for as many rounds as you need it to, right? Like, this has no set limit. You've placed this down on round 15, this can last until round 30. It's insane, right? So yeah, seeing that they've cut it down to 4 rounds, I think is like a very appropriate amount, right? If you want to invest into early glue, it's still going to be insane. It's still going to be really good, right? You're still going to have these really easy early clears. But the fact is, you're going to have to invest a little bit more money, and that early snowball that Geraldo enables is not going to be as strong if you've only got 4 rounds of it there. So, I think cutting it down to 4 rounds, really appropriate. Sharpening Stone is an interesting one. I saw Sharpening Stone as a like half-decent buff here. I don't really think it needed a tone down. I think having it as a permanent buff was really cool. You know, you invest $215 and like it's a decent buff, you know. In the later stages of the game here, it adds a damage, it adds +2 PS. It's still really good. But does it really need a tone down? Like, I don't think so. It feels to me like this is something where people are now going to forget that this will fall off, and will forget to check it and be like, oh, why did I die? Because they're so used to Sharpening Stone being permanent here. Worn Cape, completely fine, have no problem with this here at all. Blade Trap is another one of those outliers, I'd say in like the same vein as Glue here, where it's so good for its cost. It's so insanely good for its cost here. The fact that you can have 5 of these at once, and the fact that you have a Super Maelstrom on command here, means that, like, I don't know exactly what it is. I believe that they're nerfing the amount that you can hold to 3, which I think is about the right amount. But the fact is that for like $540, that around like, so for example, let's just go, I don't know, 98 here. Right, let's just play out round 98, shall we? I'm going to use just Geraldo on round 98 here. Let's just see how a level 20 Geraldo here ends up stacking up against round 98 if we end up doing, say, a Maelstrom or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. People complained that Sai, the hero that has one of the best abilities at dealing with round 28, made it too free. The fact that Geraldo can literally just clear out, I believe it's what, like 10 ZOMGs worth? That's not okay. That's not okay. The fact is, like, okay, real talk here, you want to see, like, the reason why this isn't okay as well, is because I don't have any other defense here. All I have is 2 genies. Let's play out round 98 again here. I have 2 genies now, right? So that's 8 ZOMGs worth right there. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's super illegal. I paid $6,000 and I cleared one of the toughest rounds in the entire game without having to invest any more than I currently did here. Oh, okay, well maybe I die to some genie RNG there. Big whoop. But the reality is that in any chimps game that you're going to do, it's not going to be just this, right? It's not going to be just this shotgun option. And the funny bit is, I can defend that if I invest just slightly more money as well. These two combined here, these are not okay in their current state. So the good thing is that Blade Trap gets nerfed down here. I think, you know, Blade Trap having this super really cool ability, and Blade Trap being able to just plop down and being able to deal with early Moabs, all that fun business, I think that's really cool. I think it's great for 63, the fact that it exists, but should there be this many of them? No, because then it just turns into like this shotgun option, right? And I don't think it should exist in this current state because it means that it is not the intended design behind it. The intended design behind it is to clear dense waves that are not ZOMGs. It is designed to deal with rounds like 63. And you know what? It's fine if it's some extra damage. It's fine if it's some extra damage against the ZOMGs, but it should never be able to clear it out to a stage where it is just clearing out an entire round there. It just nullifies one of the toughest rounds in the game. I don't know if they nerf Jerry's Fire here. I think Jerry's Fire is fine as its current state. Maybe you nerf it down to like 8 rounds again there, something like that. I think it's a really fine item there. Not really too fussed about it. Fertilizer, again, it's like not a big deal. Bunny is trash. We don't talk about Bunny. Rejuve Potion. Yeah, Rejuve Potion, I would honestly probably increase the price a little bit here. I think that, see, like, again, it's one of those really big problems where Rejuvenation Potion at the stage of the game that you unlock Rejuvenation Potion isn't a problem. Right? Like, Rejuvenation Potion at, like, stage, what, 63? It's not a big deal. But Rejuvenation Potion like around 98 or like around 100 where you're just like plopping down 3 first strikes onto a bad. Yeah. It almost makes me wonder, is like, should this be nerfed to just have 1 stop? Should Genie and Rejuvenation Potion just be one stock? I honestly think, because like, as you can see here, the most powerful ones being spammed out here, Rejuvenation Potion, Blade Trap, and Genie. I think those should also probably be one stock. Does it mean that it's going to be a little bit harder in the late game with Geraldo? Does that mean Geraldo has less late game power? Yeah. I mean, look, honestly, I could see it in two ways. I could see Genie going down to like, staying at 2 stock, but getting weakened just a little bit on the damage side of things. Or, you know what it could be? It could be that Genie should take a little bit longer to restock there. So, I guess the long and the short of it here is, what would I want to see out of all of this here? I want to see a Shooty Turret late game buff. I want to see an Old Nails late game buff here. I want Creepy Idol to stay the same. I want Pickles to get a little bit of a nerf here. I think Pickles is like way too good in the early game. This can stay the same. I want to see Invisibility Potion get nerfed by like 2 rounds as such. I think it's a bit too good. Glue needs to not have as much Pierce as it does and last for only 4 rounds, which I think is a good nerf. Sharpening Stone I think is fine. I wouldn't really touch Sharpening Stone. One Hero's Cape is fine. This should go down to like... Honestly, I would see this go down to like 3 stock here and go up to about 750. I think that's about an appropriate amount. I mean, like, if there was any nerf I would do to Hot Sauce here, I'd make it 600. Fertilizer's fine. Bunny is... honestly, I want to see Bunny scale a little bit better into the late game here, because Bunny just is something that I'm just like, no, we can't use Bunny, it's not good. It just doesn't scale into the hundreds and well enough. Rejuvenation Potion I would put down to 1 stock and up to 1,200. I would probably nerf Genie price to like 2,400 here. I would, I think that's probably where I'm at here. I think Paragons are fine. Like, you don't really want to touch Paragons here. They're already expensive enough as is. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. I don't... See, I'm in 2 minds about touching Genie Bottle, right? I'm in 2 minds about it, because I like the fact, like, if we're nerfing Genie Bottle to 1 stock, I would make it so it lasts 4 rounds, so that you've got enough there, right? I'd make it last for 4 rounds and keep its restock at 6. So, like, if you want to invest, like, you want a downtime in between it there, so it's got 4 rounds of being really powerful, you gotta take 2 off, so that you invest into some more power in there, right? 4 rounds of being powerful, 2 rounds in there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of where I would like to see Jerry go there. I think again, the most egregious ones here, Tube, Blade Trap, those need to get nerfed. These 2 are a little bit more questionable. This definitely needs a nerf as well, but hey, maybe have price to scale with round. No, that kills the character. So that is my opinion on the matter.